Hi, my name is Dave Poland. I'd like to welcome you to Portland Film Beat. My guest tonight is Dennis Gleason, the president of Darkwing Productions and vice president of OMPA, Oregon Media Production Association. And my other guest is Chloe Voller. She is the season 8 winner of Portland Teen Idol. Thank you for coming, you guys. It's nice to have you here.
It's an honor to be here.
Tell us how you got started with Darkwing Productions.
Darkwing Productions originally started back when I was in high school in small parts. I was doing different things, landscaping, etc. And over time, the company name originally was a different one. It was being confused quite frequently with another one, so I changed it in 2000. And so Darkwing Productions, being with Darkwing International, was originally a spinoff from Darkwing Duck. You know, people are laughing at it probably, but it's not spelled the same way exactly. It's actually two words, Dark Wing, for the legal standpoint.
Right.
But basically, Darkwing Productions.
Owner of Darkwing Duck as well?
No, I didn't own Darkwing Duck. That's unfortunately a Disney thing. I wish I did. I watched it when I was a kid. But no, the idea basically is we used to play basketball with a co-op team. I worked at a company and another branch, another store. We worked together, and I couldn't play basketball to save my life. So I get up on the court, does the moniker that Darkwing Duck does by saying, let's get dangerous. And I usually hurt somebody at one time or another. And so it kind of stuck. So what originally was a different company name turned out to be Darkwing. And now there's Darkwing Entertainment, Darkwing Productions, and Darkwing Foundation now for the Teen Idol program. Right. And so it was basically just started out as trying to help my son learn the media industry, and then as time went on, I learned about public access television, and here we are. 600 shows later, I'm now doing tons of productions. So.
Nice. Did you start Portland Teen Idol?
No, I didn't start it. The city of Portland started it originally back in 2006.
And actually, I researched it, and I was really glad to see that it was a legit organization. Before I called you on, I'll be honest.
That's okay. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
No, and I was like, oh, this is with the Portland Park District, correct?
Well, Portland Parks and Rec was the originator from it in 2006, with 2007 being the first year. They ran the program for 4. At the end of the 4th year, they started running out of programming money and had to do something with it. And I had volunteered to produce it for television for a couple of years prior. And they said, Dennis, we're losing this program. We don't have the money. Either you take it or it's 86th. And I was like, oh, no. This is too big of a program to let it go. I picked it up in 2011, followed all the rules.
Right.
We end up with several hundred kids. We had a student from Cracksburger Middle School, now at Gladstone High School win, and it's just growing since.
So you've had 8 seasons.
This is now finishing our 8th season, correct?
So is this Portland Teen Idol, is it going to be an inclusive Oregon Teen Idol, or is it going to grow more exponentially to include
The show
all of
is
Oregon?
only a half hour to start with. The overall original program was designed just to be a Portland local for English singing children to get them off the streets. We have now added Spanish. You'll see on the logo behind me that we've added Russian.
Yeah, I saw it.
We have stand-up comedy. This last year we didn't have the budget for anything besides English. Unfortunately, we were down to less than.
Do they do
amount of money,
performances or just singing?
Well, again,
like,
singing. The singing for
the Miss USA and things like that. They do some kind of
dancing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, this is all, depends on what program. So if it's obviously the English, Spanish, or Russian, it was all singing. The Spanish one, we've had 2 successful years, and English, we've had a total of 8 now. And for our stand-up comedy, obviously it's stand-up. It's going through and performing stand-up at different locations and going to comedy clubs that they're allowed to go into. And eventually we're going to have sports. We're going to have different gaming things that are intellectual based.
Cool.
We long term plan on having anything that kids are really interested in doing that will tie into the original idea of getting them off the street into ethical programs.
It's a great program.
But also be educational.
All right, Chloe, how old are you and where do you go to school?
I'm 14 and I'm a freshman at Westland High School.
How did you get started with Portland Teen Idol?
Well, I auditioned and I sang Oh Darling by the Beatles, and it was kind of nerve-wracking at first, but then I saw that there were so many cool people. I met Dennis and he was super cool, and then I met Jen.
Did they say that?
Good.
And I just had a really fantastic time.
Do you think that being on Portland Teen Idol, how many people do they sing in front of?
It depends on the situation.
And then it's also on TV?
Sometimes some of the segments get aired on television.
Okay.
We have different years, different TV stations air it. But I think the largest one for Chloe was at the Oregon State Fair. We had about 500 people in the audience and about 20,000 people that could hear in the entire audience, and a few where there's about 1,000 people physically that she can see in the audience that are paying attention. Right. And the smallest one was of 3 people or 4 people when she did a 45th anniversary for a couple. So.
Did you ever sing in front of a large crowd before that?
Before Portland Teen Idol?
Yeah.
Yes. I have done a whole bunch of talent shows when I was younger, and they just grew and grew to more people, bigger talent shows.
Right. But being on Portland Teen Idol and singing some of these crowds and getting actually maybe more exposure, has it helped you with relaxing?
Yes,
good. That's
definitely.
Really great. So you started.
She's actually gone quite a bit since the original program. And one of the things that are very important that most competitions don't do is they don't go as far as educating.
Oh,
they
I'm really
usually
glad
go
you
to
do
the point of get you in there. If you can do your job, then you have to keep on coming back and do your job. They don't actually teach you to be better at your job. They don't teach you things that maybe are around that job part. And we're very proud to be one of the very few programs in the entire country that, one, is free, absolutely free for everyone to participate in, but also gives them classes if we can afford to give classes. We're hoping that we can get some budget so we can have some classes for kids before they compete.
What kind of classes?
And afterwards. One of the things that we're hoping to get is public performances, public speaking specifically. Another one has to do with how to compete in competitions, what the right things to do and the wrong things to do. And most of it is doing the interviewing and working on career development in the general sense, the concepts, not applying for X job more than just simply saying, these are the things you need to know. You need to research the company you're going to work for. If you're trying out for competition, you need to know who are your competition, what's the organization like, how long they've been around, are they moral and ethical? If you're having to spend money for training, which is okay. I mean, how many people go to college and they don't have to pay? Not very many.
No, public speaking is good. You should be able to do that. It makes you more confident as a person.
The key is making sure that you have the right organization that they're, because in Oregon there's organizations that will charge you a ton of money, but then you have to go do all the work. So.
You still work with Portland Park District on this. They're
Portland Parks is involved quite a bit. One is they've been our major finance backer for the previous 4 years while we've been a community program of my production company. Now that we're becoming a foundation, a nonprofit, the Portland Parks is going to be one of our larger funders, as well as the director, or one of the individuals that was involved with the creation of Teen Idol, is on our board of directors for the foundation. And so we intend on continuing to perform during the summertime for them, as long as they'll have us, both concerts in the parks and movies in the parks program, as well as maybe even providing some of our education classes with them. So the concerts in the parks,
have you sang, Chloe, have you sang at a concert in the park?
Yeah, I've sang
in Portland?
Yeah, many. Wow. It was part of the tour.
How many songs did you sing?
I've sang up to 3, I think 3.
But you have a bunch of teams coming up and singing.
We do. We have any number of students, whether it be from this year. We even sometimes will bring other years in to help fill out at the time we have. We have 13 students this year, and getting enough people to go and perform at least one song, sometimes it's difficult. Summertime, people, they go all over, they do their thing, and we want to make sure we have good content. Being the winner, she has a lot more responsibility than any of the other students. And that means essentially she opens the program and she closes it down. And that's both an advantage and disadvantage. Disadvantage, you always have to be prepared for 2 songs. And if you do a great job of one of them, like she has one that I really, really like, I make her sing it more than she probably wants to. But she's so good at it, the audience is new every time. And they love it. So,
how many people auditioned for the first Teen Idol? How many auditioned last year? And how many do you expect in years to come?
It's very, very numbers. We have very little data on the city and how many people tried out in the 2009-2010 year. But the 2007 and 8, we know that there was about 300 and some students in each time. And our program now is different than then. They counted the number of people that tried out to be a Teen Idol finalist, and we actually count the number of students that benefit from the program.
That's good, because there's a lot who do.
Right, well, because we have the classes. People that show up at the classroom may not ever apply.
Do they show up? Are the classes taught at Park District buildings?
Some are. One case we have was going to be probably one of our permanent facilities, actually the Centennial Middle School out in Gresham. And it's actually a physical Centennial Middle School facility, but it's also a Sun School and a Portland Park, so they run them all together. But reality comes down to is that we have all our teens that volunteer, even ones that are out of state, count as our impact. We have kids that volunteer to do leadership, kids that come back from previous years to help out, students that apply for actually singing competitions in the various languages, et cetera. And then we have some students that just want to help out in general. Just like any volunteer activity, we count everybody that comes in, spends a significant amount of time as having benefited from our program.
And they do. They're getting involved
We've had,
in community and working in a group
right.
for something that's bigger than them, actually.
Well, that's the whole point, is to make things different than what they might have at their schools. And we don't allow
And it
just any
keeps
kids
them off
either.
the streets.
It does.
And away from other dangerous things that they could be up to. Chloe, I'm curious. How many new friends have you made?
So many.
Yeah.
So many.
Do the teens really support each other? Is there a little bit of competition?
I'm surprised there wasn't much like, oh, she's better than me, I don't like her. It was just, they were all so nice and so talented.
Wow, that's a great environment.
So many people.
Right.
They're all so talented.
How do you prepare to open it and then I got to close it too? Do you have?
I find that good. Like, I don't get nervous about that or find any pressure with it. I'm kind of happy.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a good thing that you get to open and then close the show. It's more of the experience you get.
Right.
Yeah.
So you do public
Appearances, right.
appearances and hosting as well. Is that right?
She hasn't done any hosting, but she's willing to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's part of the development is, again, whatever the student needs to be successful is what we try to provide. And if they need more confidence running shows or events or just public speaking, and I've been trying to pull her along a little bit, what's the famous line you have to say at every single performance?
Right.
Pictures.
Okay.
Is what?
The picture performances that you have to do with hashtagging.
Oh, make sure if you take any pictures or videos, hashtag Portland Teen Idol.
There you
Okay.
And
go.
like us on Facebook.
Okay. Oh,
It's a little thing, but it's not really necessarily designed to do much more than, it's not really to promote a program because we can do that ourselves. It's really more about getting them to understand how to self-promote.
Right.
Because eventually they're going to be the ones saying, oh, and don't forget to hashtag Chloe Voller and go to my Facebook fan page.
Right,
And
you
we
want
want them to be able to learn that and understand that in a way that now everyone has to learn so they can do it eventually on their
Do
own.
past winners and participants come and help? Did they come and help you, or?
They have. We have.
They get busy. I mean, they're teens, and so they're going to college, and they've got lives. And I wonder about that. How many would come and show up? I think there would be some, but I
depends
think
on age.
I think it would fade after a while with them.
It depends. I mean, we've had the first year's winner that made top 25 of Nashville Star and has written hundreds of songs and lived in Nashville for many years. She came back to Portland. She judged and she's performed for us, and now she's looking at coming to help out again this coming season.
Right.
And so we actually have students from every single season, even from before we owned it, come back and help out. Some want to be coaches, some want to be judges,
Isn't that cool?
etc.
That's really great. I think, well, it shows that they've been influenced by it, and then
Right.
they want to give back. I like that. So you talked about coaches or judges.
Right.
How many judges are there, and how do you select the judges for it?
Again, that's going to vary depending on the year, number of auditions. We had 13 auditions last year, and there are various between the schools.
So
and
these
such.
auditions, is it like watching American Idol
No,
on TV?
no, not exactly.
Okay, good. Let's
we,
get
we have
clear
a
there.
we have a different policy.
Let's clear
in
that
some
up
areas.
because that's what we're thinking when you see that.
Well, keeping in mind that our association with American Idol is the word idol is the same in both words. We're technically speaking not associated with them. We do have activities that we do that are in concert at times, like when American Idol came here to Portland, the directors came to us and said, hey, can you give us some students that you might recommend to try out for American Idol? We'll give them front of line passes, and we had 14 students that were old enough. She wasn't actually old enough to even do it this year, and neither was last year's winner.
Well, she
And
will
so
be this year.
Next year she'll be able to do it. So we have that connection, but most importantly for our judging is we believe, again, education first. If we're not making a positive difference that they can walk away with, then we shouldn't be doing it at all.
Right.
And so we don't believe in embarrassing anyone. We bring the students into a quiet room. Should be no more than one person outside of themselves that they know, the judging staff and production staff, and occasionally a choir director might want to go in there. But we try to make it a very small audience, no peers unless they want one peer to come with them. So if they go up there and they completely bomb their audition, which some people, they just freeze up, some people just aren't very good yet, they don't feel embarrassed in front of 100 people, and we would never, no matter what happens, we'd never air it without their permission, and we would recommend not doing it if they didn't make it.
Did you give them a
through.
second chance at all ever?
The hard part is we don't have time to do a lot of second chances.
I understand.
If we have 50 people in one night that we need to get through and we have 4 hours and every one of them has 2.5 minutes of talk time, we barely have enough to confirm that's the right student before they do their audition.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And some we've literally gone, thank you very much, after 10 seconds audition, because we know we're putting them through. We don't need any more than that.
Okay.
And then we save the time for the ones that need more help. So.
Okay, good.
But about judging, question you asked earlier, every single audition we try to have more than one judge.
Yeah, good.
Every competition round we have to have at least 2.
All right.
Our finale we had Michael Allen Harrison, Mac Potts, which is a blind musician.
Michael Allen Harrison, I think we all know Portland who he is.
Yep, everyone. And then most people probably know who the mayor of Beaverton is, Denny Doyle.
Yeah, we know that.
He's a good friend of mine, but he's also on our board of directors as well and created Beaverton Teen Idol, or I helped his organization do that. And so we have several judges, and it depends on what round it is, depends on what their experience is. Some have to have singing, some have to have teen idol, some have to have celebrity status. So,
Chloe, briefly describe why teens would want to audition for Teen Idol.
For me, I love to sing. That's like what I do. But at school with choirs, you normally sing classical music. And with Portland Teen Idol, you can sing any kind of music that you want. I'm more focused on pop or singer-songwriter. And you can do that kind of music. And I think for everyone this age, you can have this opportunity. There's not many opportunities like this. And you can get a really...
No, there's not.
Yeah, and you can get a really good experience from it. And my mom told me about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to try out.
Okay, great. How has it helped you developmentally as far as becoming a young adult?
Well, I've gotten a lot more comfortable on stage.
There you
since
go.
I've done it so much on tour. And I've...
Tours?
that's our tour, yes.
Yeah, is performing at the parks.
Oh, okay, you have a
Skin
small
Park,
tour,
yeah.
local.
Well, it's not small. It's 17 this last year.
Really?
This season was 17 performances.
Nice.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
She's
got to
done,
get on
she's
stage
done
and
most
sing.
of those, or many of them.
Yeah.
And we have one student that's made all but one the entire year. So, but
Wow.
the tour is over, but we allow them to perform until we have other students to replace them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely got me more comfortable
Right.
on stage.
So Dennis,
Yes.
right now, I'd like you to look at the camera and tell the people when the next audition is and how they can find out about it, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who would like to find out. I hope that this show brings more people than you really want there.
The reality
I'm sure
of it
that
is,
you'd find that a welcome
it's
stress,
awesome.
right? So,
Well, right there in the camera.
yeah,
too,
we'll
there you go.
talk to camera too.
So Portland Teen Idol is now morphing into National Teen Idol, and so we're just calling it Teen Idol. And going forward in 2015, we're excited that we're announcing 6 different programs. The Beaverton Teen Idol program that exists today in the city of Beaverton, they have their own program, but any student that tries out for them automatically gets qualified for our program. In fact, this year we had our 2nd and 4th place person from Beaverton. If you want to try out, interested and find out more information about the program, wherever it may be, including Vancouver, we do have a Washington program, is go to teenidol.org, look up the information there, or go to Facebook under National Teen Idol. I think the lower third's been placed throughout the day. It's not for professionals. If you are a teenager and you're in school and you have an album out and you have a singing coach and you go on tour places, this is not the program for you. This is for kids that don't have that. Either they don't have the connections, they don't have the money, they don't have the capability or experience opportunities. This is for kids that don't have everything already, that want to jumpstart potentially. Chloe is obviously one of these very fortunate individuals, and we've had many others that have done really well, such as Aubrey Cleland, who made 11th on American Idol, is one of our students.
I'm glad you're talk about some of the
Yep.
success stories that
And
came out of
that's
it.
definitely one of them. Like I said, the 2007
You had a
winner.
girl from Tennessee?
Yep, the 2007 winner. She was from Portland. She moved there. She was on Nashville Star, and Madison Shanley made top top 88 on American Idol.
All right.
And we've had finalists and semifinalists help us with our program. We're hoping to have others. But the idea essentially is that you'll have an opportunity to learn, you'll have the opportunity to grow, and make friends, and network.
free.
So, and you say it again, it's free.
It's free.
It's free.
Good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, say it again.
It's free.
It's free.
It's gratis.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good. I
Don't make-
think it's great that you do that and do all this work for it.
Well, it needs to be done. I mean, the reality of it is that, I mean, I wish we had the funding. That's why it became a nonprofit. But the idea is that these kids need it. I mean, I have my own kids, they're grown and out of the house now, but the reality of it is Portland is still a little small, and my OMPA connections that you mentioned earlier is that, is the only trade association in Oregon for film office, and it's very important that the students that are coming out of today's schools know that you don't have to move to LA to learn the film industry, to learn to get involved in music or to be a singer, eventually anything. There's just opportunities. You just have to look for them, make sure the organization is real, make sure
this
they're
is a legit
ethical.
organization. I checked it out. I wouldn't have it on my show if it wasn't. I checked. It's a good one.
Unfortunately, we have the city, Beaverton and Portland. Both of them are obviously very much on board because they help create the program.
And I like it.
But again, the point is whether you want to volunteer, you want to learn to be a leader, if you want to learn to do a production, you don't even have to want to compete. Teen Idol can still get you in. So.
Chloe, since we're talking about some people who have made some pretty good success here, where do you hope to see yourself in 5 years? Because 5 years you'll be 19, out of high school, college, maybe it's another track to start out with. Where do you hope to see yourself in 5 years?
I just hope that I get even more confidence than I have now, and I just keep on growing with my voice and just character as I am, and that I'll find more experiences and try out for American Idol and hope that
I
goes
hope
well.
so. I hope I'm looking at her going, hey, she was on my show first. Yeah, great.
And our current Portland Teen Idol director, now the Teen Idol director, was runner-up right behind both the two American Idol success stories. And she's now taking over the program for the English side of it. So we're very excited about that. And we're hoping that, like Chloe and Haley, and all the people that have come before her, Emily and such from my program, and then the four previous, all have the opportunity to work together with each other as we work on trying to create a theme song for Teen Idol.
You're trying to think of, okay,
Yep,
great.
we're trying to come up with one, right? You got to have some kind of jingle. We're rebranding this year, but now it's nonprofit, and we hope that Chloe, like everyone else, has the opportunity, if they want to keep coming back, keep on helping and keep on contributing, and it really will be up to them of how far. And we'll be in California with our program after we expand to more Washington areas in the next 10 years. So.
Oh, I hope so. Chloe, what is your favorite part about being involved in Teen Idol? I want you to answer that. Then I'm going to ask Dennis, but then I'm going to ask you what's your least favorite part. And I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. So what's your favorite part of Teen Idol?
My favorite part is getting to meet a whole bunch of people, talented, great people. They're just, you get to see all the different kinds of music that they're into, their personalities. And you get to get a lot more connections around, and I think that's the best part.
A lot more exposure, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to think about your least favorite thing. Dennis, what's your favorite thing?
My favorite thing is actually knowing that I'm making a difference.
Good for you.
I think that it doesn't take very much for people to make a positive change in other people's lives. And I know that without this program, there may be X number of students between now and in the future that maybe would never even pursue their career or dreams.
They maybe not, you're right.
Or maybe not get the training they need to go in some other direction, but use the tools.
I mean, you seem like a positive force in getting them on stage. And sometimes
I do a lot of volunteer work, and this is my
they need
thing.
a little kickstart to get going. But once they get going, I have an interesting story about that I can tell some other time.
Yeah.
Chloe, what's your least favorite part? Is there one?
So I think that the least favorite part is that it ends.
Oh,
yay! As I grab my heart thinking that she's going to say, oh, Dennis is just, no. Because it ended, yeah.
that it ends.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's that exciting. It's that fun.
Yeah, well, you can come back afterwards, and help out. But, after you get to the finals or the finale, you don't get to come back and be in the competition again.
Yeah, no.
So that's kind of just
because you got to give somebody else a chance.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why we do it too. Is now Chloe won, so she has a winning title that she can look back on. But as we go forward, next year we have 6 programs that roll up into the same level that she's at now.
Oh.
And so next year's Oregon Teen Idol program is going to be that much bigger, and eventually National Teen Idol will take over. And yeah, you cannot come back because you already have that experience.
So you'll win the Oregon, the Portland, then the Oregon, and then move on to a national.
Eventually, we'll get to when we have enough to justify a national,
Right.
and we might do a national talent search. That's an online-only competition. But the reality is, I'm just trying to make it positive opportunities.
So Dennis, what's your least?
What's
favorite
my least
thing?
favorite?
There's got to be something there that's difficult for you.
Actually, I guess it's not my least favorite thing about it. I guess this is my biggest disappointment is not everyone that has the ability or desire to pursue their entertainment career takes the opportunity to try out. It's kind of, that's my own disappointment. I mean, we want to have 10,000 kids show up to try out. It's free.
10,000.
Yeah, 10,000. We want lines around the corner. We want everyone talking about it
for days.
Because at the end of the day, all those students will have an opportunity to have interviewed one less time before they make it.
And experience it at least.
Exactly. They have that one more experience under their belt. Again, it's free, so they're not spending anything more than their time. But more importantly, so that when we get to presenting our long-term goals with having a lot of small tours, like next year we'll have 6 small tours and 1 big one.
Right.
More students will be able to still realize the same dreams that students like Chloe is now able to do with a smaller number. And it just comes down to making a difference. Right. The more students that come out, the more people I can make a difference. And if one person benefits, it was worth it.
I know that you've got to have people helping you with this. Can you give some names out here, throw some names out, recognize some people who have helped you a lot? Because I like to hear people, you've been supported getting here to get a success thing about this. Who are the people who've helped you become a success?
Well, speaking specifically about Teen Idol, obviously we have a lot of volunteers that help out. We have almost as many volunteers this last year as we had students that made it through competition. And so Jen Reshin, she is a former finalist, our event director last year, that's now the new director. She's put a lot of time in. Carissa Gobble was last year's director that did the same thing. Holly Hampton and her daughter Kaylee Davidson have put in a lot of time in. My wife, Michelle Boxall Gleason, is Miss Oregon Plus America, but she's also put a lot of time in and helped do a lot of things. Colleen Cahill and...
Do you have makeup artists come and help them?
Yep.
Really?
My wife is the head of the department. We had 20 makeup artists and hairstylists come in for professional photo shoots.
So it's another thing to come. Come to the
$600 package if you end up making it or so. Colleen Cahill has done it in the past several years, and Michael Allen Harrison volunteers every year for us. And again, there's a huge list of people that have helped out over the years. Brandon DeWeese and Derek Gade that are my cousins, but they also have volunteered to do camera work. Again, there's so many people.
Yeah, it's recorded then, yeah. That's right.
Right, our finale has over 50 volunteers in the one day. So.
Okay, well anyway, you know what, we're getting close to the end of our time here. Yep. I want to thank everyone for showing up and listening to Portland Film Beat, listening to Dennis and Chloe talk about Portland Teen Idol. It's a big thing, and it's getting bigger, and it's free. So go out there and get your kids involved in it. I suggest it highly. I want to thank you for showing up. I want to thank Ellery Nelson. He's the director. He helps do everything in the background, makes this all happen, including setting up our microphones and everything else. And I want to thank TVC TV for letting us use the facility. Until next time, I'm Portland Film Beat. Shoot for the silver screen.